Hi, so today I'm gonna do an unboxing and the first impressions review of this Kensington Expert Mouse wired trackball. And just to give this video some context, I just wanted to mention first the reason why I bought this particular mouse. And basically, it is because in this gaming setup that I used to do flight simulation, um, I have this controller on the right hand side, and when I'm flying, I sometimes want to do something with the mouse, but usually I can take my hand freely off the throttle controller and kind of have my left hand free in a lot of the time, but the right hand is usually uh, occupied with flying the airplane there. So like if I need to use the mouse at some point, I would have to like reach over here to the right and do something weird like this, which is very inconvenient. And I mean, there's also like other uses for this, but this is just like um, one example of this basically. So I want to have an additional mouse here on the left so that I can use it with my left hand in certain situations. So this is why I bought this trackball mouse. I also specifically wanted a symmetrical one so that it can be ambidextrous and used with both left and right hands. So this is why I chose this model as well. Also, when I was researching this, I was kind of looking at Kensington's trackball mice that they have available, and there's like a few models that they have here. But basically, what I didn't like about a lot of those models is, first of all, that they have a glossy uh, design, basically a glossy plastic, and that's something that I personally don't like at all. So, but I wasn't able to find like any other similar trackball mice from different brands or from Kensington that didn't have that and would still be like um, kind of high quality, I guess. So I kind of went for the one that looked most neutral and wouldn't just also have this like very conspicuous red ball sitting over there, because like in my setup it would just be kind of pretty ridiculous to have this mouse that I have like as a supplementary controller here, and it would have like this eye-catching red ball on it, which is just kind of out of place. So I wanted like the most neutral look, and this is why I chose this wired trackball. They also have a wireless version of this, with the red ball, but what I didn't like about this one is that it works with like batteries. I think it's like AA, like two AA batteries. So I went for this one basically. So this is the context for this. So let's go ahead and do the unboxing, and then I'm also gonna plug this mouse in and see how easy or difficult it will be for me to set it up in Debian. I'm not gonna like try and configure it right away, but at least just to get it working. So that's kind of the goal here, to just plug it in and see if everything works out of the box or not. Like officially it doesn't support Linux, like, or here on the packaging it says Windows and Mac OS, and also designed for Microsoft Surface. So yeah, no official Linux support, but that's nothing very surprising. So here we go. So here's the box. If we open it, we have the device there. Let's see. Move that out of the way. Actually, let's also put this away, because we're done with that, at least for now. And so yeah, this is the mouse. So for this mouse, this ball doesn't actually lock in, like with the MX Ergo. It just, you can just take it out like this. So this is something that is new. I mean, it does feel pretty natural, like based on my kind of first test here. I've seen a review on YouTube of someone made who used this mouse for like 20 years. So it seems like, yeah, it's been around for a while, obviously, and yeah, out of all the options that Kensington offered, this one seemed like the most optimal one for me, even though there are some things that I would like kind of to have different. It's not that glossy, which is nice. Like the other ones look much glossier, so that wasn't really something that I liked. So like anyways, we just have some instructions here and things like that. This is something about their software which only works on Windows, so I'm not even gonna look at that. So yeah, let's see, there's also this wrist support. I don't know if I'm gonna use that, I probably won't, but it's there, it's available. But I'm gonna go ahead and unhook this because I think I will not be using that. So yeah, this is it's for the unboxing. Let me put all this stuff away. Okay, now let me try and plug it in. Let's see if it works at least with the default settings out of the box. So let's see here. Okay, so it does work right away. Let me see what. Let me open something where I can test various buttons. So right click is so like this is right click, then this is, I guess it is left click. Yeah, so this is the left click. So right click, left click, and these are probably like forward and back. There's this video I found. He shows how to use xinput to configure another Kensington Trackball mouse. So I'm gonna maybe give that a shot and see if I can do something similar. So he showed commands like xinput list, and let's see if I can find here Kensington Expert Mouse, and then I need an ID 32. So 32, and then we have a list of buttons. So let me actually just kind of try to remap the buttons by referring to this tutorial. Actually, maybe he has a GitHub link, so maybe it's easier to use that. So this should allow us to remap the buttons so they are numbered from 1 to 9, and you can sort of like swap the buttons around by using this method. But there is also something, there's also these properties. So it was 32, wasn't it? yeah, 32. So, which has something that is called left-handed enabled and set to 0. Maybe if I set that to 1, I guess just like this. So xinput set prop, then the ID, and then so left-handed enabled 1. So let me see if anything changed. So yeah, right, and now the left button is right click and the right button is left click, so it did work. I'm just kind of wait for it, just let me just check that for a second. So so this is the default. Right click is on the right. If I swap that, then now this is left click and this is right click. So this is kind of more natural for the left hand, so I think I'm gonna leave it like that. So actually I haven't tested the scrolling, let me check that out. So it scrolls. Yeah, I mean it works fine. I don't know, like this kind of mouse is pretty new to me. So it'll take some practice for me to kind of start using it effortlessly, but yeah, I mean it's no big deal. Seems pretty natural. I was kind of a little bit concerned about this kind of other way of using a trackball, because I never used this one that you control with your like middle finger or maybe an index finger or the ring finger, one of these three or all three at once. I'm used to controlling the ball with my thumb. So yeah, but it feels pretty natural. So the middle click and the history back button, they don't swap if you use this method set prop. Only the left and right buttons swap. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the way I would prefer it. It kind of makes sense to mirror the entire thing. So I guess let me try the other method. So let me disable this left-handed thing that I set up and try to just use the method of swapping buttons. So apparently you can just swap the numbers around, and so I need to know the order, like the original order of these button labels. So they are gonna be basically what I'm gonna be swapping. So they go from from 1 to 9. Maybe not all of these are actually present on the physical device or something like that, because there's definitely no additional wheel or button extra, so I guess those are just like don't do anything. So in the tutorial he said that this part is where he just like sort of like laid them out the way they physically appear. So the middle is in the left corner, then left, right, and I guess a button side, I'm not sure, but maybe it's 8 or something like this. So button side is probably that back button. So that's what I'm gonna that's what I'm gonna try. So let's see, xinput set button map, and then the ID, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what do I want to do? I want to swap left and right, so it's 1 and 3. So 3, 1, left and right, swap those, and then middle 2 and 8, I guess. 8 and 2. Okay, let's see. Device has no. Oh, I deleted the ID by accident. 32. So like that's it. So let's see what it did. So my monitor is still in the frame, and you can see what I'm doing there. So okay, so left click is on the right, like I intended. Right click is on the left. So that's the bottom row. Now the top. So this. So let me open a new tab. And so if I click this, yes, that's the middle click, and this is the back button. Okay, great. So I configured it. So it's not that complicated at all, actually. So now this is kind of the temporary configuration. If I reboot, that will go away. To make it permanent, there's this file called .xsessionrc. This seems to be like a Debian specific thing or Debian derivative. So like other distributions that are based on Debian also use this file. Just something on top that I wanted to throw in here. There's this Stack Exchange answer that explains the differences between xinitRC, xsessionrc that I'm using, and also xprofile. So I'll link this in the description as well. Okay, so I just tried doing this, and then I did a little test in the VM to see if it works without, so that I don't have to reboot my system. I just did like echo shell, redirected it to test.txt, and then I rebooted the VM, and I got bin bash there. But even though it says bin bash, I think it actually runs as like in the POSIX compatible mode, I think it's called, which basically makes it act as bin.sh. So that means that like this way of writing it won't work, because this is bash syntax. And this is what I'm used to the most, but I guess I'll have to rewrite this a little bit. Let me just create a temporary file. So tab new tmp.sh, and let me do all this stuff here. So so we want to check. We want to get the ID out of that. So maybe I'll just use sed for this. Let me see if first if that actually runs. I basically never use sh, so this is like not the way I usually do things. But let's see. So we get this output. Then we can use sed to get the ID. So let's do that. I already wrote a regular expression here that is mostly what we need, but I can make it a bit cleaner instead by using this symbol here to tell it that there is like a beginning of the word there and the end of the word here. It's probably not like terribly like all that important, but I still like doing it because it makes it more clear what is going on, and sometimes you just run into cases where you thought it wouldn't matter, but it does, and it's just easier to do it properly from the start. So let's see, 32, great. So we got the ID, Actually, I don't need grep here because sed can do this perfectly fine on its own. So let me just move that to sed instead of having this mess here. I'm probably spending way more time on this than it merits, but yeah, like, why not? Oh yeah, and I need to suppress the output and line only print if this whole thing succeeds. 32. Let me actually like disconnect the mouse and try it this way. So I disconnected it. And it's false. Connected it and it's 32. Okay, so no, like I don't like this mess. Like it should be just like able to do it with like a normal one command thing. Like just save the ID and have it exit with the exit code that makes sense. So I want to figure it out. Let me see. So 32. If I disconnect, it still returns 0. So let me try to fix that. So we can check like on the last line. So we can basically have this condition here. Once it reads that line, we get the ID, we do the substitution, we will print it, and then we quit. Because we're done at that point. But if it's on the last line, we can quit with 1. So 32 and exit status 0. And now I disconnected it, so, and now exit status 1 and no output. So yeah, this is this is how you can do it in one command. I actually just realized that I don't have to use sh if I source the file, or like not source the file. I can just run bash from that x session rc call bash, and it will execute whatever I want. So yeah, there's really no issue there. But like it doesn't matter because the code for bash would be like identical in this case. So I don't need to rerun everything or rewrite everything. I can just do save as. I'll put it into bin. Let's call it Kensington. Yeah, I'll just do x dash for like settings for x. What's it called again? Expert mouse trackball. Okay, I guess I'll just call it Kensington Expert mouse. Save it as that, and then do chmod plus x. So now I can like run it, and if I need to apply those settings, if I connect the mouse at some point after I boot the system, like this. Okay, so let's see, let me just put this in my VM. So I'll save it. Instead of actually running it here, I will just output it to test.txt. So let's see, I created this file, but I also need to tab new .xsessionrc. And from here, I can call. Let me just try, since it's on my path, maybe it'll just pick it up like this. Otherwise, I'll have to just give it an absolute path. Let me just for convenience, or like just for a second here, just do .accession, do sh.accession_rc and see permission denied. Oh, I probably didn't do chmod +x on that file. Then x Kensington Expert Mouse xinput not found. Seriously? I mean, let me just install it. Okay, so now it shouldn't complain anymore. I wonder what xinput outputs in my VM. Not a lot, but yeah. Okay, so this now, this should work now. Let me just now remove this comment. I also forgot to, because like this is not gonna actually do anything, because it's not the mouse is not recognized on this VM. So I'll need to just do else echo false, and then I can just put this output just at the end here. So I don't have that file there, so I can now just reboot. I'm not gonna bother with like I'll just reset it from there, even though that's probably not the proper way. But since it's a VM, it's alright. So let's see, we've rebooted, everything started, and cat test.txt, and we get false there, so it worked. So this is kind of my way of testing it without rebooting the system, but like, yeah, it's not, there shouldn't be any issues with this, since everything in this VM, it's the exact same system essentially that I have there. So yeah, so this is my go at configuring this. So I will put this over here as well. And I can quit out of this, and we're done with this as well. So yeah, let me see if there's anything else to say here. I mean, my first impressions of this mouse are good. It does seem pretty natural to use, even though it will require some practice, because it's sort of like not completely intuitive to me right now, but it's okay. Plus I'm not left-handed, so I will have to get used to this a little bit. But like I said, sometimes there are situations, like I explained earlier, just get these wires out of the way. So like if I have this controller here, I can put my keyboard over here and sort of like do it like this, and my normal mouse on the right over there, and this new trackball here, so that like when I'm flying, I can still use this controller on the right, and but the mouse is still accessible to me. And even though I'm not left-handed, it's pretty intuitive to me to just like use basically the same finger. Like if I use the index finger to click the left button, I use the same finger on this side, so that's why I swapped the buttons for the left hand. And yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. So these are my first impressions, like overall good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to using this mouse and seeing like how it goes in terms of getting used to it. And yeah, seems like kind of it's what I expected of it. Like there were no problems with setting it up. It was pretty easy, even though it took some fiddling around with it. I mean, I could have like done it in a simpler way, but then I would have like a bunch of messy scripts, and I like to sort of like configure things well once and just have everything ready to go when like in the future, so that I don't have to think about it anymore. So big thanks to the creator of this tutorial and for him putting up this his scripts and on GitHub. It made it easy to figure out how to configure this. So yeah, all the links that I have, links to the pages that I used and showed in this tutorial, I will leave them in the description below. So yeah, and this is my current setup. I'm pretty happy with it and looking forward to not having to do this every time I need to use the mouse, because now I have it over here on the left, and it's really convenient. So yeah, this is it. I hope you liked this video, and if you'd like to support this channel, you can do it at ko-fi.com/linguisticmind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.